Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I hope y'all been doing well. If this is your first time to the channel, I appreciate you clicking on the video here. If you could, do me a favor, go ahead, subscribe, like the video, hit that notification bell. I try and put out, a few videos a week. I've been doing a pretty good job of it. Just started this channel about 3-4 weeks ago. Most of my videos are outdoors related, archery, decoys, decoy carving, decoy collecting, firearms. I'm a gun nut, so I've been doing some unboxing videos. I'll have some videos where I'm actually shooting at the range here soon, I hope. What else? Some vintage gun oil, cans and bottles, and, just things mainly related to the outdoors. But occasionally I'll find myself in this chair, maybe a little more frequently than I thought it was going to be just because of everything that's going on. But if you see me in this chair, then I'm fixing to give you my opinion, my commentary, and I'm going to let it fly a little bit, whatever the topic is. So it's usually political. I am a political junkie. I don't want to be sitting here doing this every night, but sometimes something's just got you fired up and you feel like you just need to weigh in. And I think we're in an important time in our country. I would have never done this before. I've said that on other videos, and I guess pretty soon I'll stop saying it if people get to know me a little bit. But this is way out of my comfort zone, so not something I would have done. But just the current state of everything the way it is. I've got grandchildren now. I got one. I got a second one. My daughter will be having a second one here pretty soon. And your mind starts changing. You start thinking of things a little bit differently. It's maybe things that I took for granted growing up, that I just assumed would be that way forever. I never thought about worrying about my daughter, my grandkids, having a stable, safe community to live in. We take steps to live in places that are safe, but no place. You start getting a feeling like maybe no place is going to be safe soon, So anyway, I decided that, some of the loud voices are usually the ones on one side that are just complaining about everything. So I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to put my voice out there. I'm going to say what I feel. I'm going to give my perspective. And I would encourage anybody watching this video to do the same thing when the time is appropriate. Not all settings are appropriate, but, here we go. But the most important thing out of all my videos is Scripture. So I'm a Christian, number one. Most important thing in my life. Every video I like to touch on a piece of Scripture. I do my best to try and tie the Scripture to whatever the content of the video is. I'm not a preacher, I'm not a pastor, but I do try and live in the Word every day. Excuse me, I got a little bit of cold. Trying to live in the Word every day, be in the Scripture, it's important. So just a huge part of my life. So, okay, let's get to the content of what we're dealing with here in this chair. So, Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm telling you, I bet you I've said Minneapolis or Minnesota more in the last month than I have in my whole life. And I'm getting kind of old. You can see that by the hair. So, what am I going to give my feelings about tonight? Well, we're going to be, I think I'm going to title this, by the time you've clicked it, you've seen it, but I think I'm going to title it Lawless in Minnesota. So, I tried to not get too dramatic. I mean, there's a lot of titles I came up with that were maybe a little bit stronger, but let's just do Lawless in Minnesota and underneath coming soon to a city near you, okay? So I'll just jump into it and I'll try and not make this too long-winded. What we're seeing is a total rejection of federal law, okay? I used on one of the previous videos I did that just touched on fraud and the ICE situation. This was maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago in Minnesota. But I talked about sedition, and that's what you got, And I said Minnesota instead of Minneapolis in the title because the leader of that state is at the root of the problem, and he's not alone. Okay, we got plenty of Tim Waltzes running around, but what they're doing is they're rejecting the Constitution of the United States. And I know what people are going to say. The federal government is responsible for immigration. You know, the cities and the states don't have to take any active role. Yeah, okay. We'll get into some of the details of why I'm saying what I'm saying, but you know, they're actively fighting against the U.S. government. Not just under this president. Don't get me wrong. They hate Trump more than any man's ever been hated that's walked the earth in quite a long time, okay? Nobody's been hated as much as that guy. Is he perfect? No. But he's not the devil, okay? And they resist anything that guy does. But this problem here did not start with him. Not the first term, not the second term. Okay, we've got a big problem in these liberal cities where they have these sanctuary states, okay, and they just decide, oh, we're just gonna forgo federal law and we're gonna make our own rules up in the states. You know, somebody did that how long ago now? 150, 160 years ago. That's what happened in the Civil War, right? Some states decided, you know what, we're not gonna do what the government said. We're gonna do it our own way. We're gonna resist the government. They can't tell us what to do. We know better. And what happened there? 700,000 people died, okay? And that 700,000 was a hell of a big chunk of how many people existed back then. I don't know what it would equate to today, but we definitely do not want to go there. But this is how you get there. By the open defiance of a political party against another political party, and no political party is going to be in power all the time. But it's gotten so rancid that they're just openly defying the government. Okay, so this video, I've got maybe a little twist. You know, I follow people just like a lot of you, I guess, that click these videos. I mean, I listen to Mark Levin. I'm a conservative. I'm a Republican. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm a constitutional conservative. Love Mark Levin. Listen to a little bit of Hannity, Glenn Beck. I don't know, you know, your typical lineup on the right. They're not all like-minded. You know, they've got different opinions, they don't agree with each other all the time. That's one of the reasons I like the Republican Party. They're not afraid to disagree. They're not lockstep on everything and just blindly obedient to the party, right? That's the problem with the left, is it's the party over the country. Party number one, I'm not even sure if country's number two. I don't know where it is on the list, but party's number one. So anyway, I listen to guys on the right, and they're some smart people, okay? Very sharp. And I'm not saying it's frequent that I come up with my own take. I listen to them. I don't agree with everything. I don't just spout off everything that they've said. But in this case, I'm going to bring up something here in a few minutes that I've never heard anybody bring up. I haven't heard this angle, okay? I'm going to ask a question, and then we're going to go into it. And I think it's a little bit different. I haven't heard it before, so I thought it might be interesting. So, okay. Where are we at? Yeah, when I say lawlessness, and I talked about Waltz, you know, it's not just Waltz. It's everybody on the left has come up with this sanctuary city crap. And I'm talking about everybody, from the mayors to the governors to the representatives, senators, Biden as president. Not so much Barack. I don't think it even began back then, right? I think it came after him, but I'm not sure. He deported a lot of people, but I can't swear to sanctuary cities, but it's really picked up steam after that. So what do I mean by lawlessness? Let's go back and let's count all the steps where the left complains about due process and we're violating people's rights. They break the law at every turn. Lawless, okay? And where you do not have law and order, you have chaos. And where you have chaos, you have death, destruction. It's a disaster. And that's what we're seeing in small snippets in these different cities. So, number one, it starts with letting whatever the number is, I don't know, 12, 15, 20 million, just openly, Mayorkas and Biden and everybody in that administration openly allowing however many millions or tens of millions of people to just come in the country. Just wipe your rear end with the Constitution. Don't care about the American public. Claim that you're looking out for these people that just want a better way of life, or lying about asylum. All these people have asylum. It's not asylum, okay? Asylum is very specific, and these people are not claiming legitimate asylum, which you have to claim in your first state that you come to, blah, blah, blah. So this is not asylum. It's just a come on in, take all our money, use our benefits, and that's the other one. So breaking the law by letting them in, 15 million, okay? Then they send them all over the United States. So not only do they let them in illegally, they spend our tax money to spread these people all over the United States. I'm not in a big city. I'm out here in rural Tennessee. And I went to a local Walmart, and I saw busload after busload real early in the morning of these military-age immigrants that had been flown into this area and dropped off. Illegal. That's illegal. It's got to be illegal to be transporting illegal immigrants with taxpayer money. So that's 2. 3, Democrat cities being sanctuary cities. I already covered that, okay? Huge, waving your whatever, your finger at the federal government. And it's not just the federal government. It's all of us. Do you think the people in those cities that go to work and pay their taxes, do you think we want our tax money going to pay for illegals? We got veterans on the street that are homeless. Now I keep my blood pressure down. I'm already taking 2 pills for blood pressure. All right, number 4. They give them benefits, like I mentioned, Medicare, welfare, driver's licenses, and I guarantee you they vote. Not all of them, but the number is not 0. I guarantee it's not 0. I apologize for the piece of paper. The way this process works, I think of something, I'm like, man, I want to shoot a video, I want to speak to it. I come home, scribble a few notes, and this is it. It's, you know, that's as fancy as I get. But, okay, number 5. And then after they bring them in, they give them all the money, give them stuff Americans don't have, then what do? They allow them to commit crimes with little to no action. These people are committing crimes at a much higher rate, and then they have the nerve to say, oh, illegal immigrants are much safer than American citizens. They commit crimes at a lower rate. Lies. Just constant lies. Lies and lawlessness. Maybe that should have been the title. All right, so no action. Then if they do take some action and they actually arrest these people, I think I'm up to number 6 now, they arrest them, they won't hand them over to ICE. So this is where we start getting into the problem of what we've had here in the last week. They won't hand them over to ICE. They've got them in jail. They know they're an illegal immigrant. They've committed crimes, a lot of times very serious crimes, right? Murder, rape, molesting children, drunk driving, whatever. Enough of something to land in jail. And they refuse to hand them over. Now, you tell me right there, how is that not an offense? Okay, you don't have to maybe ride with ICE to catch the people, but are you telling me that's not obstruction of federal law when you know that somebody's an illegal immigrant, they've been arrested? It's not just a moral problem. You telling me that's not a legal problem? That we can't find some way to hook these people up for not handing them over? There's got to be a way to hook them up. All right, so they don't hand them over. That's knowingly subverting law. It's got to be, okay? Then they let these people out. And in many cases, they find out ICE is coming and they let them out just so they can get away from ICE. How's that not punishable by arrest? How is that not a crime? It has to be a crime. So I don't know what it is. Is it laziness by the DOJ? And we'll get into my point here in a minute where I said I had a unique thought. But is it laziness? Is it fear? I don't know what it is. But Pam Bondi, I mean, we cannot get an attorney general that takes action. We just don't ever get to the point of accountability. I talked about accountability on a different video, but that's the frustration. It's not that this stuff happens. It's that it's allowed to continue in perpetuity and to no account. Nobody's held accountable. All right. Then these people are out on the street. Then ICE, who is obeying and executing federal law. I don't want to hear, get out of my city, Trump, keep them going, hire more. Keep hiring, Fire some people at the IRS. There's plenty of people in the government, right? Get rid of some. If you don't have money to pay them all, get rid of some, hire more into ICE. Keep them going. Do not back down from this. Do not back down. We will lose the country if we don't make a point and stomp this out, okay? Okay, let me get back to the list. We got allow the people, they allow them out on the street. Then ICE has to chase them down in their communities. They don't like that, but they're creating the situation. So Waltz and Fry, you're making this happen. And I think you want it to happen, honestly. I don't think you give a crap about those people or anybody else, right? You want the bad press because you know the media's in your pocket. They're only going to paint it one certain way. But anyway, back to ICE. They got to go out there in the community, much more dangerous now, and they got to track these people down. Then they track them down. All right, now we're getting to the hot part. They track them down. Then what happens? Here comes my question. I'll go ahead and throw it out now because it kind of becomes, well, I'll throw it out in a minute. So then they go to apprehend the people. And these people fight back. They throw frozen water bottles, bricks, rocks, whatever. They destroy vehicles. They assault ICE directly. That's illegal. Everybody knows that's illegal. But they allow it to continue. More and more and more lawlessness, right? They just continue to allow it. Then what happens? The inevitable happens. All those chain of events where they're egging it on, they're not stepping in, they have no morals, they create this condition, and then guess what? 2 people get killed. And then not only do the liberal leaders, the leftists, I'll call them leftists. I don't know if there's any Democrats left, but these leftist leaders, they create this situation. They allow it to ferment. Then 2 people get killed. And then they try to turn these people into martyrs or angels, martyrs. Listen, I don't want to see people die, okay? I don't want to see people die. It's tragic. You have to be sick to want to see people die. And I see a lot of the stuff that's out there and all that, joking around about it. It's not funny, and it's really not. It's sick because they're putting the people and they're egging them on into these situations. The lady, she's just dropping off her kids. It's all lies. They knew it was lies. That video was out very quick. And after the clear video evidence, you've got Democratic leaders, I'm talking about senators and representatives, going out and saying, murder, she was murdered, and just inciting more and more violence, okay? She was not murdered. Everybody could see, this is not news I'm breaking here. You cannot be in your vehicle obstructing federal law enforcement or any law enforcement. Ignore commands to get out of the vehicle or stop the vehicle. Cop tries to reach in there. You back up. Then you put it in drive. You look through the windshield and you try and run over a cop. They're going to shoot you. Okay? What are we arguing about here? She tried to run over a cop and she hit him. And he fired around and it went through the front of the windshield. Okay? Bullet through the front of the windshield, bumper hit the cop, she used the car as a weapon. This is not even difficult. It's sad, it's tragic. I wish it had never happened. I'm sure that cop wishes it had never happened. Nobody wants to shoot somebody in the face. That's one. Then here we go a few days later. What happens to the next guy? Listen, nobody loves the Second Amendment more than me. There may be some that like it as much as me or love it, but not more than me. Love guns. Got lots of guns. Plan on getting a lot more guns. But I would never, even though the Second Amendment, I have a concealed weapon permit, I carry all the time. I would never carry a loaded handgun with 2 spare mags on my person and then go and intentionally engage with federal law enforcement where I know I'm going to be putting my hands on them and fighting with them. How do you think that is going to end? Now, I know a lot of these people, they're living in an alternate universe. They have delusion, okay? And that's brought on by these lawless leaders that are feeding them with this sickness and lies and abandoning decades or hundreds of years of our civility, okay? It's total anarchy that they're supporting. And you get people, and they get that in their head, they're all fired up. They think that they're being put out there to do this stuff, right? But anyway, back to this guy. You don't take a loaded handgun with 2 extra mags. What was he planning to do? Why do you need a handgun with extra mags if you're going to protest federal officers? And I heard somebody last night say, well, he wasn't shot because he had a gun. Yes, he was. I've seen the video, front, back, slow-mo, stills, everything. Guy went to the ground. Cops saw he had a gun. I'm sure at that time, gun. Grabs the gun, goes away from the gun. Looked like the guy's hand was on the trigger. I don't think it accidentally discharged. The freeze frame I saw, his finger was right there on that trigger guard and it looked like it was slightly bent, so he probably touched the trigger off. Fired around. At that time, bang, there's a gun go off. I heard people say, oh, well, that gun went off and that caused the other officer to shoot. No, even though it was so close, you could see the frames. Gun goes off, officer slightly moving, the guy reaches back. I'm not sure he even knew he had his gun off. He was pretty busy on the ground with a bunch of cops around him. He was fighting them. He reaches back there, and if somebody brings one gun, what do you think the cops think? He might have another one. That's pretty common. It's not uncommon for somebody to carry a gun, to carry 2 maybe. Excuse me. Anyway, so yeah, 2 people got killed. It's a shame. It's a tragedy. But it's on them, okay? They put themselves in that situation. You know, the old saying, you play stupid games, you're going to get stupid prizes, okay? And they got the ultimate stupid prize. So I hope it doesn't happen to anybody else. But people have to think. All right, so anyway, they lied to us about the deaths, blah, blah, blah. Here's my question, okay? That is a little unique maybe. Where are the cops? Where are the police officers? Where is our law enforcement? I get it, we've got sick, twisted leftists. And there's no rational Democrats, or if there are, they don't speak. They don't speak out. They don't tamp down their nuttier side, okay? And they go right along with it. So I get that we've got these morally corrupt political leaders. But where is our law enforcement? I mean, I was in the Army a long time ago, but, you know, a lot of cops are military guys and women. A high percentage are military. And cops, I'm pretty sure, like military, they swear an oath to protect the Constitution and protect the country. And this is not protecting the country. Why are they silent? Why are they allowing this crap to go on in these cities? That's my question. Where are they at? And these police officers and these unions, police officer unions, they've got a lot of power. I mean, you got thousands of cops in these major cities. Tens of thousands of cops in these major cities. Or if any of y'all are listening, or if it's you, are you guys okay with what's going on? Why are you following illegal orders from the governors and the mayors of these cities? Let's start with Sanctuary City. That's a violation of federal law. That's a violation of the Constitution. And here you are, the body of people that we trust to maintain law and order. It's violating the law. It's creating disorder. You can see it. Your families live in these areas. They live in these communities. Why are you so scared? Resist these people. I wouldn't say resist and cause a uproar. I'm not trying to be radical. Like people say, oh, Trump's cabinet ought to resist him. But that's just because they don't like what he's doing. I'm not saying this because I don't like what you're doing. I'm saying this because they're violating federal law. They're getting people killed. They're creating chaos and anarchy. And this will spread. It's already spread. It's in multiple cities, yeah? We can't allow this to continue. This has to be stomped out. So again, cops, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that are supposed to take care of law and order and help us, where are you at? How are you guys allowing ICE to be assaulted? Okay, you don't have to ride along with ICE, I guess. I don't know why you wouldn't want to help them, but okay, let's say you can't go that far because your corrupt leaders are saying, no, you're not allowed to do that, blah, 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 here's the law. I got it. But how are you guys knowingly standing by your other law enforcement brothers and sisters while they get assaulted and attacked and exposed and followed and doxxed and everything else? How are you guys doing that? Where's the brotherhood in the cops? You guys are no better. No better than these politicians. Matter of fact, you're worse because they're sick in the head. I don't think you guys are sick in the head. I think you're scared. I think you're timid. And I think you're following evil leaders. And that's not good in history. So I'm not going to keep rambling on and on. But I was just thinking to myself, where are all our law enforcement, man? State police, sheriffs, city cops, all these patriots, cops. American flag here, American flag there. I'm not making fun of you. I love American flags. I got them all over the place here. I got my grandfather's American flag right there from where he was World War II and Korean vet. That's the flag they put on his casket. I love the American flag. But you guys got flags all over the place and patches, and you're just so proud, and I'm a cop, and this is America. I love all that. But where are you right now? You're watching our cities burn, the ones you're supposed to take care of. You're letting them burn. And it's a cancer. It's going to grow and grow and grow. And we need to stomp this thing out. So come on, guys. You can do it. Stand up for your community. Stand up for your country. Just resist these guys. We're not going to do it. We're going to go help ICE. Get in your damn car and go help them. Who's going to stop you? You think Fry's going to go out there and stop you guys? Go do what's right. Show these leaders they don't have the cover. They may have the cover from the press, but you ain't got to help them execute this crap. Cut it off. If you've got one of these legals in jail, pick up the phone. Hey, ICE, come get him. What are they going to do? Fire all of you? Stick together. All right, that's enough. But just one last thing. I know they're trying to get Noam to resign and Trump to fire. Don't do anything to Noam. You keep going. Trump, keep going. Don't stop. Put your foot down on it. All right, let's get to the scripture. So last time I talked about Minnesota, I went to this same piece of scripture. I got two small ones here tonight. Okay, for the situation. Let's see if I can get here. I read this one on the last video, Minnesota, but it's too good to not read again because it's dead on. It is so relevant, okay? So we're going to Proverbs. Words of wisdom out of Proverbs. Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. You got it? That's as clear as it gets. I'm talking to the cops out there. Politicians, they can't help us. Okay? There's too many sick ones, and the good ones are too weak to help. So now we need the soldiers that are out there to help us. We need your help. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And that's what we see in these cities. And if we don't stop this, it's going to be all of us mourning. We're already mourning. Look how tore up I am. I'm a pretty quiet guy, man, but I am tore up about this because I don't want this. You know, we had a lot of good people die for this country so we could have the best place in the world, and we're working hard to screw it up. But okay, enough for one video. So I hope that scripture was a clear message. I really thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you share it with somebody. And please pray for the country. You know, we need to pray for everybody involved, even the people that are driving us crazy right now, these leaders that I called corrupt and everything else. I still pray for them, and we need to pray for them daily, that the Spirit gets in their heart and changes their character, okay? All right, what do you think, Levi? Okay. Well, thanks again for watching the video. God bless all of y'all, and I'll see you next time.